terms, it's gone down by 5% in just 2 years. 5%! Bastards! Hastings? Why do you want to know? Why Hastings? Hastings was nothing but a clash between warlords and robber barons. The only battle worth knowing about is the battle between... And he'd be off. He knows it drives me mad. I think it probably drives Hilary mad too. Anyway, I persevered. "The boy I brought home," I said. "His name was Ned. You remember him perfectly well. It was his half-term. He came into the Hard Rock 2 weeks ago." "The Sloane Ranger in the cricket jumper? What about him?" "He's not a Sloane Ranger." "Looked like one to me. Didn't he look like a Sloane Ranger to you, Hills?" "He was certainly very polite," Hilary said. "Exactly." Pete returned to the bloody TV where there was a shot of your dad trying to address a group of Yorkshire miners, which I have to admit was quite funny. "Look at that. First time the old fascist has ever been north of Watford in his life, I guarantee you. Except when he's passing through on his way to Scotland to murder grouse. Unbelievable. Unbelievable." "Never mind Watford. When did you last go north of Hampstead?" I said. Well, shouted, which was fair, I think, because he was driving me mad, and he can be such a hypocrite sometimes. Hilary went all, "Don't you talk to your father like that-ish," and then got back to her article. She's doing a new column now for Spare Rib, and gets ratty very easily. "You seem to have forgotten that I took my doctorate at Sheffield University," Pete said, as if that qualified him for the Northerner of the Decade award. "Never mind that," I went on. "The point is, Ned just happens to be that man's son," and I pointed at the screen with a very exultant finger. Unfortunately, the man on camera just at that moment was the presenter. Pete turned to me with a look of awe. "That boy is Brian Walden's son," he said hoarsely. "You're going out with Brian Walden's son?" It seems that Brian Walden, the presenter, used to be a Labour MP. For one moment Pete had this picture of me stepping out with socialist royalty. I could see his brain rapidly trying to calculate the chances of his worming his way into Brian Walden's confidence, father-in-law to father-in-law, wangling a seat in the next election and progressing triumphantly from the dull grind of the Inner London Education Authority to the thrill and glamour of the House of Commons and national fame. Portia Fendeman, maverick firebrand and hero of the workers. I watched the whole fantasy pass through his greedy eyes. Disgusting. "Not him," I said. "Him!" Your father had appeared back on screen again, now striding towards the door of number 10 with papers tucked under his arm. "I love you, Ned. I love you more than the tides love the moon, more than Mickey loves Minnie and Pooh loves honey. I love your big dark eyes and your sweet round bum. I love your mess of hair and your very red lips. They are very red, in fact. I bet you didn't know that. Very few people have lips that really are red, in the way that poets write about red. Yours are the reddest red, a redder red than ever I read of, and I want them all over me right now. But oh, no matter how red your lips, how round your bum, how big your eyes, it's you that I love. When I saw you standing there at table 16, smiling at me, it was as if you were entirely without a body at all. I had come out of the kitchen in a foul mood, and there, shining in front of me, I saw this soul, this Ned, this you, a naked soul smiling at me like the sun, and I knew I would die if I didn't spend the rest of my life with it. But still, how I wished this afternoon that your father were a union leader, a teacher in a comprehensive school, the editor of the Morning Star, Brian Walden himself, anything but Charles Madstone, war hero, retired brigadier of the Guards, ex-colonial administrator. Most of all, how I wish he was anything but a cabinet minister in a Conservative government. That's not right, though, is it? You wouldn't be you then, would you? When Pete and Hilary both got it, they stared from me to the screen and back again. Hilary even looked at the chair you sat in the day you came round, glared at the thing as if she wanted it disinfected and burned. "Oh, Portia," she said in what they used to call tragic accents. Pete, of course, after going as red as Lenin, swallowed his rage and his baffled pride.